Hello, friends and fiends. To celebrate Black Cat Awareness Month, we are offering author readings from Dancing in the Shadows, a tribute to Anne Rice. All proceeds from sales of the book go directly to the Animal Rescue League of New Orleans. Sit back and enjoy the readings.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ellis, a writer of dark fiction and poetry, and I've had a number of short stories published, as well as the novels The Five Turns of the Wheel, Reborn, The Woodcutter, and also the novellas Bottled and Paused. I'm always delighted to help charities when I can. I don't necessarily have much money, but I can write a story, and if that helps generate a little bit of income, then I'm more than happy to do so. So this particular anthology is Dancing in the Shadows, a tribute to Anne Rice, and the proceeds are going to an animal charity, which I'll mention a little bit more in a moment. My short story, Kindred Spirits, is set in a post-apocalyptic future where the country has been decimated by civil war and disease. A couple, Lucy and Sam, have a blood type that is particularly immune to disease, and so their blood has been harvested on a regular basis to help others. But they have got tired of being drained in this manner and have escaped to a place that they have heard of as being a safe haven. I would like to say at this point that the characters Lucy and Sam are named after my sister-in-law Lucy and her wife Sam, as they both requested to have characters named after them in one of my stories, so I was more than happy to oblige. They have read this, and what happens to them at the end you'll have to find out. The charity that benefits from this particular publication is I'm going to read this to make sure I get it right, the Animal Rescue of New Orleans, in recognition of Anne Rice's own love of animals. I really do believe it's important to donate or help in whatever way you can these animal charities, because they are amongst the most vulnerable members of our society, and they are part of our society. They are with us as pets, they are with us as working animals, and they rely on us. They can't speak for themselves. And so if they are treated badly, then it's up to the rest of us to try and help put things right, look after them. Sometimes it may be because owners can no longer look after their animals properly, so they'll need some support there. Or it may be that the animals do need to be rescued from a particular place and helped out. So if you can give, I would highly recommend it. And if you are a book lover, what better excuse can you have than picking up an anthology? I mean, this one, Dancing in the Shadows, it's a gothic delight, or any other book that supports a charity, but I would highly recommend this one. So my story actually starts just after they've escaped and they've come to the town that is their safe haven, supposedly. They stepped out from the trees as the sun vanished behind ominous clouds. The forest canopy had hidden the change from blue to battle grey, heralding a storm approaching. Lucy's neck prickled. She scanned their surroundings, expecting to see someone watching her. There was no one there. In fact, as they walked down the main thoroughfare, they discovered the town was deserted. Her sense of unease grew. They had been told they would be met. Sam looked anxious again. "But we saw smoke from the chimneys," she said. "Where is everyone?" The wide, empty street felt too exposed as they walked along. Lucy guided Sam under the awning of a grocer's store to take stock. There were no craters here, no ruins or rampant weeds. All was neatness and order, free from the messiness of humans. Free from humans. Were they to be watched and assessed? She couldn't bear it. If after coming all this way they were rejected, had to go back, spend a life on the run from those who sought to exploit them. It wouldn't be a life, she thought. It would be the end. "There's got to be someone here," whispered Sam. "I mean, someone looks after this place." "Maybe a meeting somewhere," offered Lucy hopefully. She didn't really believe it, though. Who left shops and goods unattended in these days of desperate survival? The town felt more like a setting, a scenery prop, than anywhere real. It was wearing a disguise, like she and Sam had done. If that was the case, what was it hiding? She peered through the store's tinted windows. The shelves groaned under the weight of goods the likes of which she hadn't seen since a child. The door was unlocked. As they crossed the threshold, thoughts of breadcrumbs and a gingerbread cottage flitted through her mind again. Lucy shook herself free of the unsettling thought and proceeded to stack the supplies they needed on the counter. She was not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. "What are we going to pay with?" asked Sam. Bizarrely, while she had no qualms with murder, Sam disliked stealing, would get stubborn if Lucy so much as suggested simply taking what they needed. "Just because others steal doesn't mean we have to," she said. Killing, that ultimate theft, failed to affect her. "I think these should do it," said Lucy, and placed her thermopack into the chiller cabinet, whose gentle hum indicated it was still functioning correctly. Another surprise. Under Sam's approving eye, Lucy scribbled a note to the absent owner and put all their purchases into one of the store's own brand backpacks. On balance, Lucy reckoned she had paid him far more than his goods were worth, all to keep Sam happy. They left the shop to find themselves beneath a glowering sky. "It's almost as if it disapproves of us," said Sam, looking up. Lucy hoped this wasn't the verdict that would be handed down to them, ejecting them from the haven. They kept to the awnings and made their way along the deserted thoroughfare. Every shop they looked in was just like the grocery store, clean, neat, and well stocked, and still not another living soul, although Lucy continued to sense something was watching them, judging them. The lack of reception continued to puzzle her. They had been invited, were expected. They passed a clothing shop, a diner, stopped at both, sorely tempted, but something drove them on, kept them going to the end of the road that terminated at the edge of a wide lake. Lucy stared, shocked. It was as if the town had undergone a complete personality change. The one pier was rotting, disintegrating into the water below. The small boats moored alongside were in varying states of disrepair, one or two already sinking beneath the murky surface. Others had been hauled up onto the shore, neglect turning them into skeletons. Mooring ropes were frayed and worn, chains rusted. The water itself, inky black, looked dead. The feeling of dread triggered by the deserted nature of the town increased. "Let's go back," said Sam. "Knock at some of the houses, find somewhere to stay." Lucy nodded, doubtful about finding someone. They might discover a place to rest in safety. Adrenaline had kept her going, but now she felt exhaustion making its presence felt. They made their way along a residential street, where again things weren't quite right. Less Hansel and Gretel, more Goldilocks. Outside, all of the houses looked normal. Neat front gardens, tidy lawns, clean net curtains and sparkling windows. But the doors were unlocked, and like the lake, the reality behind the facade was ugly. Mould climbed the walls, sofas were moth-eaten, bedding stained and ragged. Walls, linen and carpet were spattered with droppings. Occupancy seemed to be shared between rodents, birds and insects. "I'd rather sleep in the open," said Sam, looking at one particular bed in distaste. They quickly returned outside. There were many more streets and houses to explore, but neither of them had the desire to continue. Something told them it would all be the same. "No one's here," said Lucy. "I don't understand. We were sent here." "Maybe the virus," said Sam. "Perhaps it finally got here." "If it had, wouldn't that make them more inclined to help us? It would mean their status would become no different to that in the compound. They would have exchanged one prison for another. They needed to get out of the town, away from whatever was hiding beneath its surface. And there was something there, creeping behind them, peering over their shoulder, dark and malevolent. And that's a short excerpt from my story, Kindred Spirits, from Dancing in the Shadows anthology, which is a tribute to Anne Rice. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll pick the book up.